Testing.
Testing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 3 of the Syren RCX Crosscar Cup. My name is Nevan Jayawardena and we are here in America at Phoenix Raceway, bringing you action once again live on track. But, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day because I'm joined by a certain friend of ours in the commentary box. You may know him. He is none other than the number 81 himself. He's taking a break from racing today to join me in the commentary box. What an honor. It is none other than Thiago Pereira. Welcome, my friend, to the commentary box. How does it feel?
Thank you for having me back. I've come to the realization I do not possess enough pace to challenge the current drivers, so I've taken my rightful spot back in the commentary box with you. Just looking forward to seeing some good racing action today. It looks like a smaller grid taking place today. I believe there's 8 cars on the grid, so rather than a normal race weekend format where you see 2 heats, you see a consolation race, and then the final seeding of 8 drivers, this weekend we are basically going to have just the 2 heat races and then the overall final. All the drivers seem to be in a position to be seeded for the final, so no pressure of making it through the heats, but there will be pressure for qualifying and to just make the finals in as high a position as possible in general.
Alright, so less chaotic race, I guess that means for the drivers, and I think that would be a welcome sigh of relief for all of them. But now that you're here, Thea, why don't you tell us what it's like to drive these things? Because I've been doing my best trying to explain to our viewers at home how these things handle, but it's better to hear it from the man who's actually driven it themselves. So, how does it feel?
Well, I mean, from what you can see on the stream right now, you can see just how hairy these cars are. As we just watch Sulek going through the little S section of the circuit over the jump, you can see how unstable and unruly these cars are as they get airborne. We can watch, you see Xavier Ratnaika in the background, even going over something as little as a curb. You gotta understand, these are very lightweight pieces of machinery. The suspension on these cross cars, I wouldn't say they're stiff, but they're not the most flexible of things either. So when you do hit a curb with the significant lack of weight on these cars, you're gonna feel it. As you can see, majority of the time when a driver does hit the curb, you're going to go on 3 wheels. The problem with this is, once you land back on all 4 wheels, just due to the amount of power that these cars generate, you will just lose the back end upon landing. The same goes for these jumps, essentially. If you take off on a jump in a slightly wrong angle and you land on a bit too many revs back on the earth, you are also at risk of ideally maybe spinning off into a barrier that's positioned right outside the racing line. So there's a lot of things for these drivers to keep in mind. They need to keep in mind which curves they need to be taking, which gear to be on as they're exiting jumps, where they need to be on a gear with lower revs. And just in general, they need to make sure they don't skid wide on the gravel sections. The tarmac sections do tend to overheat their tires quite a bit, depending on the track temperatures. But if you've noticed over the races, Nevan, you'd see that the gravel, as we see here, does have a significant brighter line. There is a much more distinct racing line, which you do want to stick to, or else if you do run a little bit wide, as we see Savi may do, nope, he keeps it pretty neat. If you do run a little bit wide onto the excess gravel, you are almost a passenger in these cars unless you decelerate in time. So that's yet another thing to look out for with these cars. It's a very complex car to drive, but once you get the hang of it, it's such a fun piece of machinery.
I can imagine. I mean, last race we did see one man going the long way around because that, to me, I talked to him after the race and he did say that was a more comfortable line for him going onto the excess gravel, and that's Abdullah Ayaz from Bangladesh. So keeping an eye on him early on in the stream, actually, while you were explaining how the cross cars work, he did go the long way around this corner where Savi and Tehan were taking where they are going in their carts now. But gonna be interesting, like you said, the tarmac being a factor of overheating tires and Tehan getting very loose on the rear end.
You see what I mean now. Another crucial thing, based on what I'd experienced in round 1 at Winton Park, was there are certain points in the track where the tarmac may meet gravel, where the gravel might meet tarmac spots. The surface change between tarmac and gravel. Oh, as we see,
oh my!
Tehan has speedrun his way
flipped into the pits.
Yep, that's one way to get your car repaired. Haven't seen that since the days of Formula 4, so
yeah, it's a welcome return.
Yep, that's what you're gonna get with this crazy jump here at the Phoenix racetrack. But as I was saying, from what I'd seen back in round 1, going from gravel into tarmac really sends your tires over, like basically creates more wheel spin on your rear tires. So if you are entering somewhat sideways, it's crucial that you might want to lift off the throttle before actually straightening out your wheel, as we see Jeff Chi, a little example of what I'd said earlier, entering the thick gravel on the outside. It's possible, but is it the faster line? We'll soon see in these heat races, as who knows, we might see some overtakes right around the outside through some of these corners, maybe into turn 1.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we have quite the amazing list of drivers, albeit shortened. We have very famous names and familiar names returning. Shyama Mendes, Sulaik Mushin, Brian Pereira, Abdullah Tehan Eranga, Savi Ratnayaka, Jeff Chi, Tavinka De Silva, and Viren Boteju. So, very interesting lineup of cars here and drivers. Wow, okay. There's a very extravagant run there from Tavinka. Yes.
No, and if I'm not mistaken, the last minute arrival of Tavinka might actually see us having a consolation race.
Consolation race. Yeah.
Now this
will be interesting.
This will be intriguing to see how this works, as if it is a consolation race of oh dear. Okay. Well, we're going to see a whole lot more of that today, ladies and gentlemen. The consolation race is technically the finishers below the top 4 of each heat, so basically 5th and onwards. Would this not generally just mean that Tavinka races the consolation himself?
Yeah, it's just become an extended practice session for him.
I say that now as just looking at this like current timing grid. If we look at the top 8, let's just say by chance this top 8 qualifies. Oh, as we see, so that is the pit lane.
Oh, is that the Joker lap? That looks like the Joker lap.
Oh, okay, this is the Joker lap. Alright, so this is intriguing to see, because this track is so confusing to see. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Joker lap. So each of these drivers have to do the Joker lap at least once during their race events. If you don't do the Joker lap, you will get disqualified. And if you do the Joker lap more than once, you will get a substantial time penalty, which will essentially hinder you in such. It could potentially be a strategic decision to do it twice, because at some circuits the Joker lap is shorter than the overall length of the circuit, as we saw in round 1. Now, whether someone wants to take a chance and do the Joker lap twice and incur the penalty to get ahead of the field even more, that's up to them. But one thing's for sure, this is set to be an action-packed qualifying session because we have, as you said, we have some big names coming our way here.
We have the likes of Suleik Machine, Shyama Mendis, Brian Pereira, Tehane Ranga, Viren Boteju. Like, action-packed qualifying does not even begin to start how this session's gonna go. It's gonna be very interesting to see which drivers take which lines, but like Thiago said earlier, I'm gonna assume they will stick to the developing race line and try to stay in the lighter parts of the gravel and the darker parts of the tarmac. So, with that being said, Thiago, here we go. Qualifying is underway as we are right now following Shyama Mendis going for a run in the cross cars.
This is beautiful. He's so close to the wall. He's a little wide on this corner, but he could get away with it. It's just straight lined a little bit too much on entry to that. He was a little bit too close to the wall, but let's see how this sector comes together. He has come across the line with a 38.9. Wow, that is a quick.
Wow. And Jeff Chi bests him.
Wow, Jeff Chi from out of nowhere with a 38.908. Where did that come from? Abdullah
Never mind.
38.6. Wow, okay, this track is definitely ramping up. But we see some of the big names, Shermal, Brian, and Tehan, and even Savi, currently not even in the top 2. This is interesting to say the least. As we see this time, you see it's a much better line from Shermal. He was able to get the car rotated much better with a bit of a wider line. Let's see, coming across the line, what kind of a lap time will Shermal set here?
Still not enough. Is it easy enough?
38.7. 38.7. It's very close though, it's very close.
The drivers have the track for like another 2.5 minutes, so there's still a lot more room for development in times.
Nevan, this is his final lap because you get either 2 minutes or 3 laps. So this is a make or break lap for Shyama Mendes. Let's see how he get. Oh, that is very nicely on the line. He's kicked the back end out. Oh, it looks like we've moved over to a different driver. I believe this might be Jeff Chi, if I'm not mistaken.
This should be Jeff Chi.
Okay, Shermal Mendes comes across the line. It's a slower lap. Let's see. Brian Pereira jumps into second with a 38.8. He's a 10th off Shermal Mendes after his final lap. But what will we see from car number 14? I believe this might be Tavinka De Silva. We're missing a car number 14. I'm not certain who car number 14 is, but we are riding on board with him as he started his qualifying laps much later than everyone else. From the looks of it, I believe everyone's laps might be done unless Tehane Ranga is on a lap. Oh, but
he should be on a lap. He's clipped the sausage curve.
Yeah, that would have disrupted it. Yep, 39.3. Oh, it was Suleik. Suleik is someone we have to watch out for, Nevan. Suleik has been on the money this weekend.
Wow, we can see Tavinka absolutely just flicking the wheel.
Okay.
The edge of our seats there, Tavinka absolutely sending it. Wow, Suleik also sending it. I believe when it comes to the final lap, all these drivers just giving it all they got and leaving everything up to chance at this point.
Yeah.
It seems like Tavinka's on a keyboard.
Most of the laps have been completed. Now I believe Tavinka's also completed his final lap. I'm a bit surprised with Suleik at the moment. Oh, there we go. So Suleik might have one more lap at his disposal, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he should be on his final lap now. Oh, that might be a little bit touch and go for track limits. He did cut significantly across. But Nevan, one thing I want to just note is a few of these drivers are coming into this race weekend with minimal practice. We have Tehane Ranga, Viren Boteju. They are coming into this race weekend a little down on practice, so the more laps they do in these heat races, the faster they're gonna get. The same goes for Savi Ratnayaka as well.
Yeah, track evolution and we can say driver evolution, I guess, with there being more laps driven in the heat races and all to play for in the final race. And I believe that is qualifying done, or yes, that is qualifying done. So, ladies and gentlemen, your current order is Shyama Mendes, Brian Pereira, Abdullah Ayaz, Jeff Chi, Suleik Mushin, Tehane Ranga, Viren Boteju, Savi Ratnayaka, and Tavinka De Silva. And we wait for the grid to be set. Is it just the top 4?
Is it?
Oh, it's all of them.
Entire grid. I believe
it's the entire grid.
No,
as they are.
No, these are drivers in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit confusing for us as well. I'm not certain. Well, we know that there's 5 red lights on. The car's rev up. German Mendes on pole. Brian Pereira next to him. It's like
green.
Oh, it's a good start from Brian.
Oh, it's all
just a little bit. Oh,
and there's somebody
behind. That might have been Jeff Chi. Oh, there's a big big send from Tehan. I think it's contact with Tehan, and I believe it might have been Sulek Machine behind. Oh no! Somebody lined it. It is the Joker Brian Pereira. it's the Joker lap of Brian Pereira. But Shemal Mendes leads the way out front, and you can see Brian Pereira might exit the circuit, potentially in the lead. It is going to be close.
That's a brilliant play.
As I said though, the Joker lap might actually be relatively similar in terms of overall lap time. So what Brian might want to do here is back Shemal Mendes up into the rest of the pack, so that the time at which they all go to do their Joker laps, it's going to be quite a mess for these guys. As we see,
there they go.
We see
Abdullah Ayaz.
Yep, it's Ayaz and Shemal in the Joker lap. Let's see where they come out next to Brian, because when Brian did his Joker lap, it was relatively close. There's Brian. Here come the 2 leaders, and they're out ahead of Brian. Oh, that was so close.
The Joker lap is not just a game, or it's not just a mandatory lap, it's more of a tactical game. So we saw even in the previous rounds where most of the drivers, like Virem Botejo also, held out on using Joker lap until the very end of the race to get the jump on certain drivers. In this case, Shemal Mendes and Abdullah Ayaz leaving absolutely no stone unturned. The moment they saw Brian dip into the Joker lap, they were already deciding to go for their Joker lap. So right now, the top 3 drivers, Shemal Mendes, Abdullah Ayaz and Brian Pereira, all having completed the Joker laps, are now just leaving it to a battle on track as Brian Pereira gets very close to Abdullah Ayaz there, going into the final corner and now down the main straight. And Tehan Ranga taking liberties with a line back there, sending it over the sausage curb.
Nevan, watch Brian's line through here compared to the rest of them. Look at how wide he enters this corner, and look at the slingshot he gets on the exit. That is... I don't believe Shemal and Ayaz are making much defensive effort at this time. Maybe Ayaz might be having a bit of a defensive shape more so than Shemal, but just look at Brian Pereira's line going into turn 1 on the next lap. You can see it's almost as if it's a bit of a go-karter's line from Brian's previous racing history. You can see just how wide he enters, like as we go on the main straight here. Let's just take a look. I don't believe Ayaz or Shemal will go to defend, so this will be a good indicator of look at just how far wide Brian is. And it just straight lines the corner for him. You can see he's gained on Ayaz plenty.
This is where look at the back. That's Tehan Ranga going in.
The hands on the Joker.
Is this going to be a jump on the top 3 drivers? They are duking it out, but then there's Tehan Ranga.
It might be close.
Did not see him there.
Again, with Tehan not having enough practice, he also might not be able to utilize the Joker as well. He's pretty much stayed in the same place, so it's nothing too hard loss for him. He just needs to maintain this position and make sure that he can start the final in as good a position as possible. I'm now
here comes Brian Pereira.
Oh, here we go. Will he go for a dive? Will he go around the outside?
Most likely. I would assume that these drivers like to go around the outside as Brian gains on the jump. That was a wonderful, wonderful example. Who's round? I believe that's Kavinka De Silva. Who's round?
And
there's Brian Pereira with a look down the inside. It's relatively close. They go on the switch curves. Abdullah Ayaz. Wow. Here we go.
We have Tehan in the background watching all this happen and hitting a curb himself.
You know, Thiago, if you come into the commentary box, you gotta know the lingo. Tehan sitting back there with a bucket of
popcorn.
Yes.
He's just waiting for everything to go down because now Brian has been unleashed to try and catch Shemal. At this point, Abdullah Ayaz might just be thinking, let's just secure this position. You never know though, because look at this, Brian's gone wide again. Abdullah Ayaz might be getting a little bit of a look in here if he can get a good exit here. We know they get a little squirrely out of the final corner. Can we see anyone making any movement forward onto this final lap here.
It's going to be very close and a very interesting one to see. I believe Abdullah Ayaz would be very finicky as Brian also loses a bit of concentration, and there's Abdullah Ayaz looking for a way around Brian Pereira now. It's going to be close. Brian currently sitting at the net P2 and Abdullah Ayaz.
See how close he got to the wall there out of turn 2. My gosh, Brian had to lift off the throttle and just open up the steering a little bit. That's why Ayaz caught up so much, but now Ayaz runs a little bit too wide. But this should be the checkered flag for Shirmar Mendes. He wins the first heat. Brian Pereira finishes second. Abdullah Ayaz with the third position. Tehaneranga rounds off in P4. I believe Sulek Mushin finishes off the top 5 in 5th. Viren Boteju might have been involved in a first lap incident. He finishes off in 6th, 5 seconds behind Sulek, followed by Savirat Naika, Jeff Chi, and Tavinka De Silva a lap down.
Oh, look at this, Thiago. We're straight on to the warm-up. So there won't be a second heat. We're going straight to the final, I believe.
Well, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but this has been a fairly short affair for us as well. Because
It's been a fairly short affair, but it's still been an amazing one having you in the commentary box. It is always a privilege. I mean, before it was my commentary box, it was certainly yours. So none of that's finding me over here.
We need to revive the entire trio and bring back Sam D. Smith into the commentary box.
Indeed, we must have Sam D. Smith back in here, and we will always be here to give you the live feed thanks to CMSC and, of course, our sponsors, Chama Computer and Next Level Racing. Bringing you the iRace Championship. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this series gets a real-life test in none other than the Syren RCX car. So, very interesting prize here. Who knows, maybe even Thiago could get the slot.
I feel like from the first round itself, I think I finished P5 overall. I was lacking quite a bit of pace. And then I am missing 2 rounds. There's no way I'm making it. But from personal experience of driving these cars, and even with like just how little driving I've done with them, I can already tell, I can assure you, these are some fun cars to drive.
Yeah, these are amazing cars to drive.
It's quite interesting, man, because from what I've experienced in real life, which was quite minimal, with barely any pushing, to what I've experienced in iRacing, the cars aren't even that different, if I'm being completely honest. The cars are fairly similar in terms of performance, and I believe, Nevan, you've had experience in these cars as well, have you not?
Yes, I have, and I've driven something similar to these things. I believe they are the same cars, just different tires back in the Rally Star competition that was held in India. We were given the chance to drive these cross cars over in India, and let me tell you, they are amazing. Even down to like the very first race I commentated and I heard the engine sounds, it's exactly the same. And if anything is to go by the real life experience of having driven these cars, these are certainly both a handful and fun.
Nevan, when are we going to see you joining us with these cars on iRacing? When do we get to see the commentator step out of the commentary box and join us? Because we're missing you.
The commentator. Well, I am hoping to try and compete maybe later on in the year, but if it's not later on in the year, then it's definitely going to be next year. And I feel bad though. I am going to deprive our loyal viewers at home the voice, but
I'm sure they can suffice. We'll see more cars on track. But for the viewers, just a little insight into some of the plans we have for the future from any CMSC Esports Championships. Of course, this is round 3 of the Cross Car Championship. Next week is round 4. We have the final round coming up in 3 weeks' time, and then a little bit of an insight into what we might see in the future. We believe we will be seeing an F1 25/26 championship held on the F1 game, on the F1 25 game, and potentially Le Mans Ultimate taking place a little bit later on in the year. But anyway, back to the feature race.
Insider news given by Thiago Pereira, and there's a jump start. Jeff G has got a little too enthusiastic there. That's gonna cost him. It's green for the feature race. We are underway, And Shyama in this one gets the jump start, but here comes the man down under, Brian Pereira, taking the wider line into the feature race. They're going to go side by side. Knock, knock. Here comes Abdullah Ayaz down the inside. And that's a flying move by Abdullah Ayaz. Look at the back of the pack, and Brian Pereira jumps into the joker lap.
But never on the one time I was talking about Brian's. Oh, and Savi's had a bit of a spin there. But the one time Brian opened the door too wide, I was saying he had a wide entry to turn one, but that was not the time to keep the door open. Turn one of lap one, you can almost assure Ayaz is going to go for the move. As you can see, the cars are almost tipping over going over the curb.
To quote Viren Boteju earlier on in the open mic race, why am I flipped over on the main straight? Watch those sausage cuts, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Nevan, one crucial thing, sorry to interrupt you here, but so Ayaz is taking the Joker lap, but was Sulik Machine entering out ahead of him? Has that just caused him to lose potential track position on Brian? Here comes Abdullah Ayaz. I think it's going to be close here. He exits the Joker lap. He's not made it. I told you.
Oh, it's a side-by-side affair.
He's close, but this is what I was saying. Sulik Machine managed to slot himself between Brian and Ayaz after he took his Joker lap, and that cost Ayaz maybe a few car lengths, which has ultimately cost him second place on track. The crucial thing, though, is Shermel is still yet to take his Joker lap, and this can only indicate that he's going to extend that lead to even more than a second once he takes that Joker lap. He's still not taken it. He's waiting to see when Brian pulls the trigger and tries to pressurize him, and then I'm almost 100% certain Shermel's just going to let him go through with the Joker lap, and then come out well and truly in the lead.
Shyama Mendes is currently cruising away in P1, having, like you mentioned, not taken his Joker lap. This is an effective P1 for him, knowing that once Brian does pull the trigger, he is going to jump into the Joker lap, or who knows, maybe even keep it to the last lap. But aside from the heat race, this race is 15 laps. And Thiago, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe an inside joke, I believe our race director has encouraged drivers to take more responsibility going into this race, as he opened applications for penalties now. So, very interesting.
Indeed. If you do wish to apply for a penalty, you know where to apply. Just let our race director know.
Our race director, none other than Rocket Denan Abesekara, overseeing the cross cars. Shout out to him as well, up in the race director's box. But we are over here in the comment box, and we are here to bring you.
I'm sure our race director is enjoying the racing action that we've been treated to so far today. Having a nice time with his gyozas. It's been some pretty good racing action. The gaps have opened out just a little bit to maybe a second between each car, but as we've seen, anything's possible. I'm a little bit upset the automatic iRacing cameras have not panned the cameras to the battles further back, because I can see there's a major battle for P5 and 6 between Tehan and Jeff Chi. Even further back, there's a battle between Samir Ratnayaka and Viren Boteju. They're covered by just a tenth of a second. But sadly, ladies and gentlemen, we are on an automatic iRacing streaming platform, so we cannot manually move it back. But just be known, Nevan, watch out for Savi and Viren. They are a tenth apart going onto this lap. Oh, there's yellow flags as well. They must be barging and bumping wheels here.
Savi Ratnayaka and Viren Boteju, look at the minimap on your right there, ladies and gentlemen. They are having quite the ding-dong battle. But
I believe there's a third car in there as well. It might even be Davinka De Silva might be involved in this battle. Oh,
as Abdullah Ayaz points his nose sky. That's another thing that we forgot to mention, Thiago. I think the torque of these cars, as soon as you throttle it going over the jump, the torque is so strong, it just dips the car backwards on its on its rear axle. Just pivots. So
like a plane taking off at this point. It's a miracle these guys are able to actually land and keep these cars in a straight line with just the sheer brute force of their landing speed. Because these guys, they're taking these jumps at well over 150 kilometers an hour. These things are not slow pieces of machinery. As you can see, wow, Jamal is getting caught by Brian, it must be said. Like, Brian has caught has pulled this gap down from over a second to now roughly 0.4 of a second. When will Shyamala pull the trigger and take the Joker lap?
And now, Thiago, it's that segment of the broadcast where I annoy all racers everywhere. It's the battle of iRacing versus GT7. This is something we have to watch out for. Brian having...
Oh, here we go.
Brian Pereira have very, very prestigious racing career in real life, as well as having represented Sri Lanka in the Virtual Olympics on GT7. Chasing down Shyamala Mendis, who was a competitor in the iRacing F4 Championship. We see Brian Pereira breaking a little and get a stronger line in, a sharper line in, I should say. Wrong use of words there, but let the battle rage on between these two drivers as we look behind.
There's a battle behind. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see that battle, but just be known, Ayaz and Sulek are going at it. This is a spot for the final podium. It's like, my God! That's incredible. Oh no, cameraman, cameraman, what's happened? We need to know.
The fourth one, we have been Lance Stroll. Stroll is what it is.
No. I mean, I'm enjoying this front leading battle, but they're still swapping places. Sulek has now managed to get past, and look at this, Dehane Ranga, again with his bucket of popcorn, is back in the fight. He is right there.
Meanwhile, hang on a minute. Meanwhile, look behind. Savi Ratnayaka has pulled a gap on Viren Botejo as well.
Once again, well, we're not really going to be able to see at this point. We need some better TV directory at this point.
No, Thiago, the problem is the fourth wall is missing. And the fourth wall, when is absent, we are forced to use automatic iRacing, and this kind of fourth wall is useless. This is the fourth wall made out of plywood. We need the proper fourth wall. We need the fourth wall that responds to us.
A bit similar to the F3 Monaco race that we've just witnessed, but at least we do have somewhat of a battle now for the lead. Let it be known, I still don't think Shyamala has taken his Joker lap yet. I could be wrong. Shyamala could have very well already taken his Joker lap, and this could be an outright battle for position. But if my memory, if I'm correct, I don't believe he has taken his Joker lap. Now, do you remember if Shyamala has done his Joker lap this race? Oh, there's a look down the inside. Wow. That was
I believe that was very ambitious. But Thiago, to answer your question, I don't think he's taken his Joker lap. So I think he's still holding on to tactical advantage here on Brian Pereira. But let it be known that Brian Pereira has set the fastest lap of the race, the previous lap, not the current lap, the previous lap. So he is gaining. But that look on the inside was a little too ambitious there from Brian Pereira, and I feel like that's cost him a potential shot at P1 here. But P2 still very respectable. Brian Pereira giving Shyamala everything he's got in an effort to try and gain. He has gained a little bit, but that sausage curb on the entry is costing him a little bit too much there.
He's using it reasonably well, but I feel like Shyamala's just quicker through this long right-hand section. We can just see Shyamala getting the back kicked out much better than Brian, who's a little bit more straight-lined, a little bit too narrow into the corner. Now it's lap 14 or 15. Shyamala has just set his personal best lap of the race in response to Brian's pressure. Is he going to duck into the Joker lap here? I believe he might have, if he hasn't taken his Joker yet, he's probably leaving it till very late, just so that he can ensure he comes out ahead of Brian onto the final lap. But Brian is not making this easy. Brian wants to lead going into the potential lap that Shyamala takes his Joker. This could look very silly on us if he has in fact taken his Joker, and this is the outright battle for the lead. But we're heading on to the final lap now, ladies and gentlemen. There's one way to find out.
That's perfectly alright, Thiago. I made a mistake multiple times in the first round because I myself was confused on who took the Joker lap and who didn't. So we shall see if Shyamala Mendis decides to straight line it.
Here we go. We're gonna find. He has. Oh. Okay. So we were correct, but now is the crucial moment. We know the Joker lap is faster, but can he get it right? It's so easy to make a mistake and hit the wall here on this Joker lap. We can see he gets it nicely rotated. Oh, he has a pretty.
He has sailed away.
And
wait,
it is
close. No, he's sailed away. Sailed away.
It's out of the final corner. Here we go. It's gonna be a run to the line. Shyamala Mendis
will take P1. Wow.
I believe he has taken P1, right? Yes, he has.
Oh, and here we go.
Here we go. The battle for The battle for P7. Oh, should I say P6 actually? It's between... Oh, I guess we're not seeing the battle for P6. Thank you. TV
Okay.
directors. Oh, we're back with it. Let's go. Viren Boteju. Oh, he's celebrating over the line. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me.
Oh God. Viren Boteju.
Viren Boteju has just assaulted Savi Ratnaika over the line. I'm sure Mr. Race Director is not going to be happy with the racing standards of Viren Boteju there.
There is the celebratory donut, proudly presented by the man down under, Brian Pereira in P2 and Shyama Mendes in P1. What wonderful racing we've had from both of these guys. My gosh, tactical masterclass, ambitious sense, you've got it all here at the Syren RCX.
And let it be known that this is now the Brian Pereira win streak broken thanks to Shyama Mendes. Brian has won the feature race of round 1 and round 2. He finished a second. It's pretty much the next best result you could get. However, we do have a new winner in the Syren RX Race at Home Cross Car Championship.
Shyama Mendes, take a bow. But Brian Pereira did set the fastest lap as we're watching Tehan Eranga, who's parked it right in the middle of a jump. I think it's get out of there.
It's reminding me of the Fernando Alonso 2015 Brazil moment. He's just bringing out his lounge chair. He's inspecting, just sunbathing, inspecting the jumps, and now on his freeway.
He's probably heard us over in the commentary box. But anyway, I believe that is the end of our session for today. Relatively short, but chaotic as it usually is in these cross-car races. It has been a privilege to share the commentary box with you once again, Thiago. A flashback to our APMC 2025 era as well, when we were the commentators for that event. Us being so far away.
Still from two different countries. We're still from 2 different countries. I believe the stream is going to get shut off very soon, so we will now say our goodbyes. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much for having me, Nevan.
Yes, thank you, Thiago, for joining us. Once again, this has been the Syren RCX Championship. My name's been Nevan Jayawardena. See you next time for round 4. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.